It's a moment that they become the so-called, you know the term, empty nester, and the moment many find themselves asking a very big question, now what? Galina Espinoza has some answers for you this morning. She's editor-in-chief of FlowSpace, a news site dedicated to stories about women's health, which now has some articles about the next chapter for parents. This is a big topic for a lot of people, especially now a lot of people are dropping their kids off. You know, Galina, we're excited for them, but we're also so sad for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Women in particular, you say.
Women in particular are impacted by becoming empty nesters, in part because culturally so much of their identity is wrapped up in motherhood. Tony, you were saying that you cry when you drop your kids off at sleepaway camp, and certainly parents who are more involved feel this loss more intensely. But the reality is that culturally, mothers are still viewed, and most often are, the more hands-on parent. We know the studies about emotional labor, about cognitive labor, where you're doing all the planning and the doctor's appointments and this and that. All of that suddenly just goes away. And when that stops, you're left with this question of, who am I now and what is my purpose?
Yeah, and it's not just emotions. You also say it can impact your brain, blood work even?
Yeah, we at FlowSpace always love to look at the science behind why we feel the way that we do. And there's really interesting research that shows that during pregnancy, fetal cells can enter the mother's bloodstream. And these cells remain in the woman's bodies for decades. And so when you think about this feeling of my child is a part of me, that's not just a metaphor.
It's literal.
It is literal. You are bonded at the cellular level.
Yeah.
And so you can imagine that kind of connection.
It's a part of you literally
You
leaving.
say, I feel like my child is a part of my body. Well, you know what? Turns out they are.
Wow.
Go ahead, Tony.
Well, I was just going to say, what can women do when they have these feelings, and what can men do to help the women in their lives?
Absolutely. Well, thank you for asking about what can men do. And I think the most important thing to do is to acknowledge that this is happening and to talk about it. This is a transition like becoming a parent in the first place, like getting married. This is a big life milestone. And you have to connect around this and make sure that you're expressing what you're feeling and not just kind of pushing it aside and saying, like, we're going to be just fine. Because in a lot of cases, couples are not when the child leaves home.
Yeah, how do you know when you have a problem? Because I remember feeling like an abandoned lover when Kirby left. You haven't called me. It's been 3 days.
Were you harassing him, Gayle?
No, I would just say, you haven't called me. What's going on? Or I'd see something on the news in San Francisco about a car accident. Where are you? I'm in the dining hall, Mom. What are you calling about? Well, I saw this accident in San Francisco. I didn't know if you had gone into this. I mean, it was just crazy making.
Yeah. Well,
so
first,
when
you are not alone. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And really, and what psychologists told FlowSpace is that it can be 1 to 2 years of accepting this transition. It's much longer than I think we realize. And you have to sit in that. You have to set boundaries. So if your child
for me or
is
for her?
For both of you. If it's important to you to talk to your child on the regular, make sure you're saying, I want a Sunday phone call, or we're going to, we're going to text a couple of times a week.
You
so
say
that
have a plan.
Have a plan for yourself as well. You need to wake up the next day and know what you are working toward, because it's no longer about centering your child in your life.
So I have 2 sons in college. My daughter's 15, going into her sophomore year. My wife and I try to date often. We have these conversations. Man, in a few years, it's going to be just us.
Yes.
And we talk about all these things we're going to do.
Yes.
And then we take a breath, and it's quiet at the table, because it hits us at the same time. What else are we going to do with our time without our babies?
Hope you all still like each other.
That's what I'm saying. It hits us. We're looking at each other we're like, are we going to still be as in love, or will we be distracted by the fact our babies
talk
are
about it. We don't have the kids there, right?
These two will still be in love.
Well, I know we will, but we are concerned.
It's a very real thing. In fact, the number of people age 50 and over getting divorced has more than doubled since 1990. And it's a big issue for couples. Most of those divorces initiated by women. And it's because they are looking around and saying, you know what, this doesn't work for me anymore without our children here. You've got to prepare for that.
You got to, yeah.
Men and women, because empty nesting affects men too.
Yeah,
it absolutely do. And the more hands-on you are, the more painful it's going to be.
Yeah,
so that's
but in the meantime, if your nest is not empty, this is a reminder to savor it, right?
Do all the things you want while you have the time.
Galina Espinoza, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. FlowSpace is great.